Okay, there she is, the Yukon River. This is the main stem Yukon. The entire Yukon goes by us right here. It's that's upstream, coming from a bunch of hundreds of miles away is the Canadian border, and then it's flowing downstream. And there's not too much on the beach. It's fall time now, of course, and the leaves are all coming off the trees. And the beach used to have fish racks on it, and hundreds of fish on them, and cutting tables and all sorts of stuff. And now the only thing down there is that blue thing down there is a raft with the center part all filled up with water, and it's loading up with fish. There's about 900, almost 1,000 fish in that raft right now, and a couple more days I'll have it full and I'll bring it to Tanana with 1,400 fish. And there's my boat down there too, and that's about it. There's a fish wheel. The fish wheel will be right around that corner on the other side of the river there, south side of the river. It's right around the bend. It's running right now, catching fish for about 3 households, and 3 households all working together on this thing. My fish wheel has been put away, and that is right across the river there in the center of the video. You can barely see anything over there, I know, but that's another fish camp over there, and the people who run that camp let me put my wheel. Been doing it for 20 plus years or more, pulling my fish wheel out there every year, and I've pulled that out, and we're all kind of just helping each other fishing on this one fish wheel. And then downstream, yeah, so I'm going to try to do a tour of camp, and hopefully the wind and the noise from the wind doesn't mess me up too bad here. There's my wife Kathleen's flower garden, and there's still some flowers. A lot of them are going to seed though now. And this is my right next door too. Through these woods here, there's another camp right in the other city. There's a creek down here, and right on the other side of the creek is my buddy Russ and buddies Russ and BJ, and they have a camp over there. And here's my lone dog that's protecting camp, Minto, protecting camp from the bears on the downstream end of camp. Usually he's got help from Russell's dogs, Russ and BJ's dogs, but they've left. They've pulled out of camp now. So Minto is here all by himself, and he's kind of a pup. Not really, he's 2 years old, but he's acts like a little puppy. Good Minto, yes. And there's my son's cabin. He just built that last summer, and him and Sam, his wife, that's where they stay when they come up here. And yeah, and then yeah, there's an old cache that's would have fallen over, but it's got a couple of poles leaning up against it. Used to be full of nets and stuff. Now we put all the nets in the house. And anyway, here's a washing machine. This is what we wash clothes in the summer. It's it's an old Maytag run by a gasoline, 2 horsepower gasoline motor, and it just chugs away and does our laundry for us. And then I was just standing over by this. It was too close to get it on camera, but this is that's my son's first place when he was a little kid. He got tired of mom and dad, and he moved out of the main cabin and camp, and I helped him build it, but he built his own little place, and right over the bank of the Yukon. We've had ice up that high almost, so well, this whole camp could easily get hit by ice. I'll show you the smokehouse area and stuff like that, where we've actually had that get hit by ice twice. So, yep. And then back here, there's an older cabin. This is a long time ago. It was built by me and my brother, who came up here from Boston and spent about 10 years in the Tanana area here with me back a long time ago. Anyway, he's gone on, and yeah, he moved back east, and then he passed away after a while. So, and now it is my daughter Kate's and Grandma's, stays there too, and her Aunt Faith, but it's yeah, my daughter's place. And that is the green thing is the shower, and it's got a solar panel, little tiny solar panel on it that keeps the battery charged, and there's a submersible pump and a bucket there, and people just heat up water on the stove and pour water into that bucket on the side, and then take a shower in it, and it works. And this is the main cabin. This camp was given to me many years ago by my next door neighbor Russ that I mentioned, is living across the creek. He gave me this camp. He gave me his fish wheel, and he gave me that reddish portion of the cabin there, and I built on the metal silver pot. But anyway, that's the main cabin. It's where me and Kathleen stay, and it was, boy, that thing was probably built in the 70s or something. Well, it was, yes, in the 70s. So, and there's our picnic table. Everybody's got to have a picnic table, and our grill, our nice Weber grill that cooks all the salmon steaks in the summer. And that's our hot tub down there, that blue thing. And right next to it is a drum on top of another drum, and the bottom part is a wood-fired place to light a fire, and the upper part is just a sealed drum with a hose running into it with water and a hose running out of it, and that's how we heat up the water for the hot tub, and that's how most of the time we get clean, is we take hot tubs. And yeah, maybe 50-50. The shower probably gets used about 50% of the time too. So those are all the poles for the fish racks. The rest of them are down in town, full of fish on a fish racks that I have down in Tanana. So that's all the dry fish that goes there. The raft that I showed you out in the river is going to haul down whole fish, and that's going to be soured and then fed to the dogs frozen all winter. And this is all the this is the cutting area. There's 4 tables there. You know, we had 3 of them set up this year. So sometimes you got a lot of people cutting, sometimes 2 people on a table. And there's the strip rack. That's what we hang the strips and dry fish on for people food before it goes into the smokehouse. Usually we hangs there for about a day, There's the racks that are covered, and then these poles here, that's open racks for sometimes where you have too much fish and it kind of all fit. And you get a camp going with about 3, 4, or 5 people cutting, and these racks will fill up fast, and the smokehouse fills up fast too. So then, and those are all the poles that the fish is hung on right there. And yeah, those are the cutting tables. Everything's put away. Usually we have all sorts of stuff out, buckets and stuff for brining and all sorts of stuff, but everything's put away now. And there's the smokehouse, and like I say, this smokehouse is it's not right on the bank of the Yukon. It's back a little ways, but that thing's been hit violently twice. That roof has been laid completely flat on the ground one time. The ice just came and took the whole smokehouse underneath away and dropped the roof right on top of the ice and moved the roof down around there. So the ice can, and you just imagine you got the Yukon out there, and that is there's a lot of distance, vertical distance there in between that river and up here on the bank. And we've had the water up this high. One time the water alone, without any ice in it, was right up to about that blue Rubbermaid tote. So one time, just the water alone, it looked, when you looked across the river to the fish camp across the river, it looked like the water was actually in that smokehouse, but it wasn't, but it was right up to it. And like I say, we've had ice clean out this smokehouse, ruin all the tables, and just wipe out everything on the bank here twice before. And yeah, this is smokehouse. There's nothing in there. Just putting stuff away in there. And here's one of the one of the gardens. As you can see, the lettuce is all gone to seed, and it's all, the weeds have all come up. There's actually black plastic under the we have to grow everything under black plastic up here. The weeds are so bad. There's so many invasive species of plants up here that are incredibly grow incredibly well, like chickweed and lamb's quarter and all that sort of stuff. But so anyway, we got black plastic under there. You can't hardly see it, but the only thing that I'm still eating right now is the Swiss chard, and that's still good, but the lettuce is all gone milky and sour. And there's a few peas still on the vines there. A lot of it's dying. And that's where I keep fish, cooked fish that I cook in my cook pot. That's the dog pot. That gets used all the time, all summer long. You can see I have already fed the dogs today. That's their fish chowder, real thick fish chowder. And they all get like a, what they get is a number 10 can a day. Those 1 gallon cans, they get one of those every day. And after a while, they start getting kind of fat, and you got to cut back on them. Some of them won't eat all their food and stuff like that. And there's a good shot at a whole bunch of junk and drums, and like I said, a lot of stuff is just getting thrown up the bank here and it looks pretty messy here at the end of the season and when I first show up in the spring, but kind of messy anyway because we need all this stuff. Everything's everything you see, all the buckets and, you know, pieces of this and that are all used. Up there, that is that little shack there up there. That's my tool shed. That's just a place to keep tools, nails, and, you know, things like that really need to be out of the weather. But you know, don't want to. Just a good place for stuff like that. So that's all that is. And this place here is a well, let's see. This thing here is an old table saw. This used to be my main way of cutting wood. And as you can see, it hasn't been used in probably 10 years. And it still would probably work. Electric motor. Used to have a gas motor on it when I used to live out way out in the woods for about 11 years. I've built a lot of stuff with that thing. But now an electric skill saw kind of takes its place. And in town, in Tanana, in the village, I have a old table saw that I picked up somewhere. This place here is what I call the video shack, and it is it used to house a lot of electronic equipment. It's got a bunk in there and stuff, but it's got a battery bank in there for a lot of that keeps all the lights in camp going, charges all the batteries. I mean, I even have an electric crock pot inside the cabin that I use instead of using the propane on the stove, because it's free electricity, because it's all produced by this thing over here. And this is a water generator. This little baby costs as much as a 2,500 watt gas generator, and I have used it for about 10 years. Let's see, 10 years. Gone through, let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's probably more like about 12 years I've been running this thing. So the water comes from the creek up the valley there, comes around the bend of the hill, and comes down through this 3-inch plastic pipe, and then it wides off into 2 lines, one back there and one right there, and they both feed in to, one feeds in here and one feeds in here, and there's an impeller in here, like a cupped wheel, 7-inch wheel with cups on it, and it produces, I just stopped it, so it's amazing. It's not like a tremendous amount of force or power, but when that thing gets spinning, it'll produce, right now it's producing 3 amps. And if I was to jack that, open up the water valve right here, that thing would produce, it should produce 10 amps. And the pipe is probably getting a little clogged at the upper end with leaves. It's about the only time of year that it does get clogged up. And so now it's like almost 9 amps or something like that it's producing. But if I was to clear those leaves, it should produce like 11 amps or something like that. 11 amps at 24 volts. So my battery bank is 24 volts, and it's charging that thing up. But we got to keep it, I'm not burning hardly any electricity here. So what we're going to do is turn this thing down. So it's about 3 amps, and that'll keep the batteries right where I want them. So that's the water generator. The wires run up into that shack up there, the green shack, the video shack, and keep the battery bank charged. And I have a HughesNet satellite dish that it keeps charged and runs that thing, and that's our communication for here at camp. So, and there's another garden. That's got more kale and all sorts of stuff that I can eat right now. It was planted late in the season to give me some late season greens, and it's done that and more. And there's the HughesNet dish right up there. That's like about a $50 a month deal for real low bandwidth, minimal use. You can check your email during the day and maybe do that a bunch of times during the day if you want, somebody wants, and that's about it. But yeah, it's you don't get much, but it is communication, and you can keep in touch with people if there's anything happening at camp, or anybody coming or going. You can, yeah. And that is Crazy. He is Crazy. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Yeah. He just goes round and round and round in circles all day long. He's the thinnest dog I got. He eats, you can see he's got 2 number 10 cans next to his house. He eats 2 gallons of thick fish stuff every single day, and he barely puts on weight. And then these guys here, they are, I have to limit their food because they are right now pretty porky, at least for sled dogs anyway. And they get like less than a can a day on average. Good dogs, Roscoe and Zippy. They are my 2 main leaders right now. They are the guys that I put out in front of the team, and they do all the leading of the team. And yeah, you're gone through, you know, dogs have a usable life a lot less than a person, so I've gone through a number of leaders in my life. And here's one of my old leaders, Spruce, who still acts like a little puppy, and yeah, it's incredible. Just what a good dog. One of his ears, as you can see, is he's been attacked by a bear while he was on a chain one time, and the bear really chewed his face up and chewed his ear off almost, and yeah, he survived. It also got another dog and did the same to him, but I guess it just decided to leave, and never was able to kill him. They fought hard enough that the bear kind of left him alone. And good dog, Brownie. Yeah, good dog. Yeah, new dog. Never run it in harness very much. Just got it last spring. And these are my other dogs here. I have a couple in Tanana too. Good Jake. Yeah. And 2 more down there. And then we got a couple of old boats here, and a lot of people just take these, fill them up with dirt, and make gardens out of them and stuff, but just old aluminum boats that have seen better days. That red one there could maybe be thrown in the water for limited use or something, but it's yeah, an old leaker. And then these 3 places here are this first big place right in the middle there, that's kind of what we call the kitchen, but it houses people. We've had some kids camps here where we bring in kids from Fairbanks and kids from Tanana and other places, and do science stuff with the fish and stuff, and do a lot of data collection and stuff. And so those two places up there are, you know, one's like a girl's tent and the other's a boy's tent, and then this place is the kitchen, and they're also used by family members right now. In the last few years, we haven't done the science stuff every year. We did it for like 13 years or something, and collected a lot of important data. And so, yep. And my son's dogs were up here this summer, so these spots here are all where he keeps his dogs, all along the bank here, but they're all gone. So that's kind of camp. I hope the video came out okay. I know we got a little bit of a breeze here and wind, and that messes up the audio sometimes, but yeah, that's fish camp from one end to the other. Okay, I'm gonna shut things off, and hope you like it.